Well, hello, IDS 105 students, and welcome to week 7 here in your IDS 105 learning community. It's me, Melanie Schaub, your learning community gal, helping you just wrap up the next couple weeks of your term. We're going to talk quickly about the week 7 assignments and how to finish your term strong. First and foremost, your experience here at Southern New Hampshire University is important to us. It's our policy and practice to create an inclusive and accessible learning environment. If there are aspects of instruction or course design that present barriers to accessibility, please notify the Online Accessibility Center, the OAC, as soon as possible at 866-305-9430, or you can also email them at oac@snhu.edu or visit the Online Accessibility Center website. A couple of webinar reminders is that this is an academic space. So always be mindful of your conduct here in these webinars if you're ever in a live session or on our First Year Experience YouTube pages, in your classroom environment, and in SNHU Connect. These webinars are not graded, they're not required, but you will learn about how to do assignments from week to week, and we go over concepts that you're working on in your course each module. Y'all, week 7, you officially have just 2 weeks left of your term. I feel like it just always goes so quickly. And this week, you are wrapping up the project that you have been working on all term long. So this week, you're going to be submitting that final project, and I'm going to talk through that with y'all. And then you will notice in your classroom space that there is a non-graded discussion opportunity. So what that means is there's a discussion opportunity that if you want to share your thoughts on kind of how you tackled the content and the work here in IDS 105 this term, or kind of how you tackled or are editing your final project, or just want to share anything about the term, that is what that discussion space is for this week. It's not graded. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. It's there. The big, heavy hitter for assignments and points this week is making sure that you submit that final project. So a couple things I want to tell you about the final project is that you are not creating anything new. Okay. So back in week 2, you picked a scenario, right? Or you might have created your own if you chose to create your own option. And then you use that scenario in week 2, 3, 4, and 5 to answer a series of questions based off of your experience, the module content, and using this scenario, right? So use that same scenario, whatever you picked or created, all term long. So your job now is to go back and look at the graded feedback that your instructor left you on those assignments those weeks, and you want to make any changes or add things or add any additions or make any edits like they noted in the graded feedback, okay? If you had perfect scores across the board on all of those drafts, you're not doing anything. You already have it ready to go. If you had some questions and maybe you were missing something or you need to add more details or examples or explain something more clearly, you want to make sure that you do that. Also, if you submitted your project drafts like individual pages, you want to combine all of your documents into one final project document here for week 7. Okay, so just a reminder, you're not starting over, you're not starting anything new. You are literally cleaning up what you've already done and submitting that template in all the pieces and parts on one final document. As a reminder, video note submissions are not permitted for your final project. This is a great time to utilize your resources like the academic support written feedback team, just to kind of have a second look over of your work. Also, as a reminder, just in case you didn't know yet, Office 365, you get that for free as an SNH2 student. So you can always have that because the template is Word document based. That discussion, again, is not graded. And then the final project is due by Sunday of week 7. Okay. So a couple of things I wanted to talk about as we talk about finishing these next 2 weeks strong. One is, do you know how to assess yourself or kind of how the term is gone? What you did well, what maybe you might have struggled with. A lot of times as we move through our courses and their curriculum, sometimes we're going to have awesome terms and great weeks. And other times it might be a subject that we don't love, or it might be something we struggle with, like math is really hard for me, for example, or maybe life is lifing outside the classroom environment. But what you want to focus in on is what are the things that made you successful this term? And then what are the things that maybe you need to work on to do better or feel more organized moving forward through your classes? So I always like to remind students to kind of take a minute and do kind of just a self-assessment on how things are going. Ask yourself those hard questions, a reminder to stay positive, opening up those lines of communication, and taking action for your success. And what I mean by asking the hard questions is those hard truths. So take a minute and think about, what did you do really well this term? Think about life outside the classroom. Think about life inside the classroom. Maybe outside the classroom, you asked for help when you needed it, so you were able to get your homework done. Maybe inside the classroom, you got all your assignments submitted in a timely manner. Those are just some examples. Think about like what you're good at. Like what did you excel at? Maybe for you, you were like, I did really well at kind of having a schedule and managing my time, but maybe I need to improve on reaching out for help. Or maybe I could improve some of my writing. Maybe you struggled with your academic writing by utilizing like the academic support team, for example. So thinking about what you did good, thinking about what you can maybe do better, what you might have to improve, who can help you. You guys have heard me talk over and over about all the resources here at SNHU. There's so many departments to support you in your success, both inside and outside the classroom. So remember to lean on those resources because they're you've already paid for them. Your tuition pays for you to use them. They're free for you, technically. So utilize them and just kind of think about like who can help you and support your success. Maybe things academically went awesome, but maybe outside the classroom, life was tough. Maybe you didn't have help at home, or maybe you got sick, or you had somebody in your life get sick, or just something like came up. What can you make a plan for moving forward for your next term? If you need to have like a backup babysitter, or maybe maybe your work schedule changed and you need to kind of figure out a new study time, or maybe you need to ask somebody to help you with like chores, like laundry and dishes and dinner and things like that at home. So this is a perfect time to kind of just sit down. It just takes a couple of minutes, y'all. It doesn't take a long time. And just be like, okay, what did I do good this term? Write it down or say it out loud. Okay, what is something like I really want to work on? Say it out loud or write it down. And then like, who can help me? And like go with the first people that come to your mind. And then same thing, like what can you do? Always, always, always remember that you are 100% worth this journey. I know that not every day is glitter and sunshine. There's a lot of storms and a lot of speed bumps that can happen on the road to getting your degree. However, you are 100% worth this journey. And you really have to remember sometimes to believe in you and believe in everything that you are capable of. So if there's ever any doubt, turn that doubt into determination, because you are 100% worth this journey. And we are here to help support your success. Which reminds me, communicate. If you are stuck, if you have fallen behind, this is the time for you to get with your advisor or your classroom instructors. Make a plan to get caught up. If you struggled on an assignment, see if you could submit it for more points. Your faculty 100% could say no, but the answer is always no unless we ask. So advocate for yourself. Reach out, set up an appointment with the department. Text message if your faculty member text messages, or send them an email, or pick up the phone and call your advisor or your instructor if they have their phone number. Let them know what's going on or how they can support you so that you can finish your term the best that you can. And any points are better than no points. Okay. As a reminder, we have so many resources here at SNHU. You have your faculty. We want you to reach out to us. We want you to ask us things. You always have your advisors. They can connect you with any department here at the university, but there's so much more than that. You have these learning community webinars. You can go back and watch any of them from the term if you were stuck on something or want to work on something. You have the written feedback and the tutors and the workshops that's offered by academic support. Plus we have the library, the help desk, and then you have anybody outside of the classroom that might be supporting your success too. Don't forget that you are not alone on this journey. The biggest thing is you have to take action for your success. So today's the day. What are you going to do about it? And nothing changes if nothing changes. You're going to get the same results if you just keep doing the same thing. So this is just a reminder to really pick yourself up. Think about what went well this term. What maybe you could do better. Just pick one thing, who you could reach out to and connect for your success, and really just go after your best self. And you know what? Just don't forget, again, 100%. You got this. You're worth this journey. And we are just so excited for you to be able to finish these next couple of weeks strong. I wanted to take a real quick minute and just walk you all through that final project. So just remember, You go underneath module 7 and you will see when you go underneath module 7, as you scroll down, you're going to see that 7-1 discussion, project discussion, non-graded. Couple of notes here. Do not post any pieces or parts of your final project here, okay? This is literally just here as a space where you can ask questions. If you're stuck on something, you can share tips for writing or like what kept you motivated this term or anything that you might want to share that's relevant to the classroom space, okay? As a reminder, that template and the final project is underneath this 7-2 project, and you click on the guidelines and rubric. And when you do that, it's going to open up that overview of the entire project, right? So it's going to talk about what it is. It's a reminder of the scenarios, and it's going to have all of the questions listed here again, okay? As a reminder, if you need to go back and look at your scenario again for some reason, click on that project scenarios, and it'll pull up that project scenario document. What I do want to remind you of is if you created your own scenario, you want to make sure you reference what you put together back in module 2 so that you have all the pieces and parts, okay? But again, remember, this is that template. You have been working on this template all term long. So you have already at this point answered all of these questions. This is no longer a blank document for you. All you are doing for this project is you're going back, and if you divided it into separate assignments, you want to put it all in one spot so that when you turn in your final project, it is one cohesive document, okay, that has all pieces, parts, and questions answered. So you, again, are going to look at your project and the drafts that you turned in, and you're going to look at the instructor feedback. So go back to the Grade Center, pull up each assignment, look at what your instructor said. If you aced it 100%, you don't have any changes. You're ready to go. You can rock and roll. If you have some edits or have some things you are missing or details you need to add, you want to go back and make those changes. I will tell you, when I grade these, I pull up the previous project drafts and compare it to what's being submitted in the final project. Okay, so if I was asking for changes or looking for changes, I'm looking for them. All right, so just a reminder, you're not starting over. You're not doing anything from scratch. You already have all the pieces and parts. You're just cleaning it up and submitting it. And if you want to have another person look it over, you can always have a friend or a family member look it over. You could work with the academic support team and use written feedback. The biggest thing is do not forget to turn this assignment in, okay? This is a huge chunk of your grades, and I want to make sure that you know that you've worked so hard to forget this one. So make sure you get this submitted. Next week, we're going to be heading into week 8, and you're going to finish the term strong with a discussion for your very final week. Again, key assignment, make sure you get those discussions in. If you're missing any discussions, this is the time to get with your instructor and make sure you get things turned in. But for week 7, you have a non-graded discussion opportunity, and you have this final project due here on Sunday of week 7. All right. Okay, y'all, that's all I got for week 7. Finish strong. We can't wait to review these final projects. Have the best week 7.